And then he said the most marvelous thing.
You must tell us all about it.
Yes, do go on.
Inspector Goole is a three-act morality play set in 1912 in the home of the wealthy Birling family. The drama unfolds in a single evening and centers on the mysterious visit of Inspector Goole, whose interrogation exposes the moral failures of each member of the upper-class household. The play uses suspense, social criticism, and dramatic irony to explore issues of responsibility, class inequality, and the interconnectedness of human actions. The play begins with the Birlings, Arthur Birling, his wife Sybil, their adult children Sheila and Eric, and Sheila's fiancé Gerald Croft, celebrating Sheila and Gerald's engagement. Arthur Birling, a prosperous capitalist, makes boastful speeches about the future, claiming that the Titanic is unsinkable, and that there will be no war, statements which the audience knows are tragically false. This early dramatic irony highlights his ignorance and sets the tone for Priestley's criticism of self-satisfied industrialists. Their celebration is interrupted when the maid announces the arrival of Inspector Goole, a police officer investigating the suicide of a young working-class woman named Eva Smith, who has died after swallowing disinfectant. The inspector shows Arthur Birling her photograph and reveals that Birling once employed Eva in his factory. Birling admits she was a lively and hard-working girl, but explains that he fired her after she led a strike demanding higher wages. He defends his decision as good business, but the inspector suggests it was an irresponsible act that contributed to Eva's downfall. The inspector next turns his attention to Sheila. When she sees the photograph, she breaks down and confesses to having had Eva dismissed from her job at a clothing shop. Sheila admits she acted out of jealousy and bad temper, having accused Eva of mocking her while trying on a dress. Unlike her father, Sheila immediately expresses guilt and accepts her share of the blame. Her remorse represents the younger generation's potential for change. The investigation continues with Gerald Croft, Sheila's fiancé. At first he tries to hide his involvement.
Think you can hide the truth from me, Gerald?
Gerald eventually confesses that he met Eva, who had at that point changed her name to Daisy Renton, in a bar, rescued her from a threatening situation, and kept her as his mistress for several months. He treated her kindly and provided her financial support, but ended the affair when it became inconvenient. Sheila, though hurt, respects Gerald for his honesty and returns his engagement ring, uncertain about their future. The inspector then turns to Sybil Birling, the cold and proud matriarch. She leads a women's charity organization, but reveals that she had refused assistance to Eva when the desperate girl came seeking help.
The accounts are in arrears yet again.
But Sybil judged her case as undeserving and turned her away, insisting the father of the unborn child should take responsibility. She proudly shifts the blame to the nameless father, not knowing he is her own son. Finally, the inspector directs his questioning to Eric, who has been growing increasingly uneasy. Under pressure, Eric confesses that he met Eva at a bar, had an unstable relationship with her, and impregnated her. He also admits to stealing money from his father's firm to support her. Eric is devastated to learn that his mother had refused Eva help, which might have saved both her and the unborn child. His parents are shocked and ashamed, but the inspector is unmoved. After all the confessions, Inspector Goole delivers a powerful final speech. He warns that society is one body, and that each individual must accept responsibility for others, especially the vulnerable. If people fail to learn this lesson, he warns, they will be taught in fire and blood and anguish, an unmistakable reference to the world wars that follow. The inspector then leaves abruptly, as mysteriously as he arrived. The family reacts in various ways.
I will not tolerate this accusation. He has no authority here.
Arthur and Sybil, however, dismiss the inspector as an imposter once Gerald returns with news suggesting that no girl has recently died. They are relieved and eager to return to their comfortable lives, learning nothing from the ordeal. Sheila and Eric, however, argue that the authenticity of the inspector does not matter. The moral truth of their actions remains. Their complacency is challenged when a telephone call comes from the police station, announcing that a young woman has just died after swallowing disinfectant, and that a real inspector is on his way to question them. The play ends on this shocking cliffhanger, leaving the audience to wonder who or what Inspector Goole truly was: a real officer, a supernatural messenger, or the voice of conscience. Ultimately, an Inspector Goole highlights how the actions of the privileged can destroy the lives of the powerless. Priestley uses the Birling's gradual exposure to argue that responsibility is collective, not individual, and that only by caring for others can society avoid further suffering.